my fifth favorite album of all time is Where the Light Is by John Mayer, which is a live album. So for some people that might not count. But for me, not only do I think is it an amazing album, but it's also probably got the best versions of these songs that I think John's ever recorded. So, little pretext or context, I don't know which one it is. John Mayer is a pop / blues / folk / Grateful Dead featured artist. And at this point in his career, he only had 3 albums out. 2 were acoustic pop rock. And this latest one was a blues heavy, album. And it's 2 discs long. And it's filmed in LA. I had a brain fart just a second there. But John Mayer is an artist that I looked up to for years and years and years for his guitar playing. And as an adult and college student, I respected his ability to craft a pop song with really melodic guitars and sing about how your body is a wonderland and still include chords that are really cool and intricate. And I don't know how else to talk about this album other than just listing off my favorite tracks. But the whole night of live music is split up into 3 sections. So the first disc has the acoustic songs with just him, and then he adds 2 more guys to play other songs. And then he adds 2 different guys to do the trio set. That's the second section, mostly blues stuff, and some Jimi Hendrix covers. And then the third and final section is the second disc, and it's the full band. So you got horn sections, backup singers, multiple guitarists. And when I tell you that this approach to releasing a live album is one of the bucket list items on my bucket list of musicianship, it's just a cool idea. It's such a cool idea to have a whole live show that's split up into different, because then, especially as like a solo artist that does all sorts of genres, you can feasibly fit certain songs into certain sections and give the audience what they want. That is only if you're successful and likable enough to have your own 2.5-hour show. That's tough. A lot of people go out on the road and they have openers and, other artists and stuff. But
an evening with, as they call it.
An evening with. Yeah. Too bad he didn't do that when he came to Chicago recently. It was just him on an acoustic guitar instead of the different, which is fine. It's cool. He's doing the Ed Sheeran thing. I respect it. But David, you've listened to his whole discography. You're pretty familiar with Mr. Mayer.
It has been a long time.
We're not sure if he's releasing anything anytime soon, but if and when he does, we're going to do a discography ranking on his channel.
Right. Just waiting for something new.
But we listened to the live album together semi-recently, maybe a month and a half ago, something like that. It was pre-New Year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think? What do you think of John Mayer in general, and why did you listen to his whole discography? I don't think I pressured you to do it.
It was because you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I just kind of. I don't know. I don't even remember like the day. I was like, I want to listen to John Mayer shit. I don't know if I at least heard New Light, or I don't know what the hell it was, but I did, and it's been a hot minute. But yeah, this live album's pretty good.
Yeah,
like the first time because I heard it twice already, because I listened to it a long time ago. And I think I watched it actually.
Yeah, the DVD has more songs too.
Yeah. So I watched it, and I remember the first time I was like all about the second set.
Yeah.
But then the third time I was like, I think the big band part was the best.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the most full sound to it, and also, hate to break it to you, or hate to break it to the audience, I don't really care too much for blues music. I appreciate the stamp that it's made on music history, but just as someone who listens to, it's just my taste, I guess. I'm sick of hearing the 1-4-5 chord progression, dude. It's so. I feel like blues is a genre of music for people who are, I'm super organized and structured, and I get so stressed out when things aren't so, and like listening to music that's very jam heavy and feeling. It's just, I imagine myself up on stage, and I've been in that position where I've played songs of mine, but with a blues band, and I have to keep screaming my chord progressions to them because it's not 1-4-5, and it just freaks me out. So when I listen to blues, either it freaks me out or I get bored because they go on for like 15 minutes and it's the same chord progression and the guitar solo just goes on for a little too long. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just different in person, but that's a lot of this album's second set because it's the trio with Steve Jordan and Pino Palladino, who are amazing musicians. Anytime they start playing a blues song, I think to myself, well, this is 7.5 minutes I'm not getting back. Let's skip it. So I was also very partial to the last set, but I also really like the first set because obviously I'm an acoustic singer-songwriter guy. I think the opener, Neon, is probably one of the best show openers I've ever heard as far as given the context of him walking out with just an acoustic guitar. The way he plays Neon, it's so masterful and incredible to listen to because first time I did, I had a hard time believing it was just a guy and a guitar. The way he plays it, and he plays rhythm and the lead section at the same time, kind of like our boy Ryland from Origami Angel. And then the first section also has his cover of Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, which for a very long time I considered one of the best cover songs of all time.
What changed?
What changed?
Yeah.
I just listened to more music, and I think Free Fallin' still stands as a very, very good cover. But for me, best covers of all time, I think it really comes down to if it's how transformative it is. Like Johnny Cash's Hurt, I consider one of the best covers of all time because not only is it a good song, like not only is it a really interesting take on the Nine Inch Nails version, but it also stands apart on its own.
It's like the only similar thing is like the lyrics. Yeah,
everything else completely different. And for John, for Free Fallin', it's super cool to listen to, and it's almost like listening to an acoustic version. It's not like a John Mayer cover because he's not adding too much of a spin to it. It's same chords, same melody at the very end and for the most part of the song, but it is a very good acoustic version of the song to listen to. Then the trio section has a couple of really good jams on it. The Jimi Hendrix covers are great. There's a couple of original blues songs that John wrote that don't sound like blues songs. See, that's the trick, is to write blues songs with really cool guitar licks like Who Do You Think I Was? That has the and it's just super cool guitar line. And then coming off of Continuum, his third album, the third set starts with Waiting on the World to Change, which is Walgreens core at its finest, but still a fun song, I think.
I don't like that song.
That's fair.
Walgreens will forever make me hate that song.
Which sucks. But in all fairness, it is not even the best song on that album. It's honestly far from it. You got Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, which sounds great. You have the 12-minute version of Gravity, which is phenomenal. You have I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You, that has a really cool progression to a big chord change or key change at the end. It's got what else does it have on the third disc? Oh, I Don't Need No Doctor, which is a Ray Charles cover and has one of my favorite pop saxophone solos of all time. It's just a phenomenal album if you're a John Mayer fan. I think if you're not a John Mayer fan, it's a pretty good introduction to the kind of music that he puts out and he writes. other than the folk stuff, which he focused on for a couple albums in his career. Now he's kind of floating around doing side quests. He was touring with the Grateful Dead for a while. He did a bunch of interviews. He's hosting, like on Sirius XM. He has a couple of, they call them stations, where he's just like a radio DJ and he talks to people. He's done appearances as a guest host for, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, and he interviewed people as Jimmy Kimmel when he was on leave, or I think it was Letterman. I can't remember. So, John, if you're watching this, musician to musician, you got to put out an album, man. You just gotta do it. Bite the bullet, do another one. Get back on Hot Ones.
Please be better than the last one.
Please be better than Sob Rock. Come on, man. What?
Make every song like New Light. That'll make me happy.
Lightning in a bottle, man. So, yeah, it's an album that transformed the way that I listen to and critique music and how I adapt it into my own style. And it's also my favorite album of his, even though it's a live album, which is kind of cheating, but